like when you sing, Caro mio ben. That's head voice, pal. God, what have you done? That is so mixy. Oh, the heater just kicked on. Hi, welcome to the Voice Mood. I'm your host, Olivia, your local millennial voice teacher, owner of Olivia Peck Voice Studio. I want to talk to you today about how to sound more professional. Do you ever sing and then listen to yourself either while you're singing or listen to a recording and go, something's off, something's not quite right? Maybe you're thinking, am I even singing? You know, you can just tell that the pitch or the rhythm is there's something off. Well, oftentimes in my experience as a teacher, a lot of these issues come up for a lot of people. And so it's usually the same things over and over. Some stuff people figure out with just listening to music and their instincts. Some people never take a voice lesson, but they have great instincts and they can mimic really well. And that's amazing. But some people need a little more guidance. I know I do. I get a lot further, a lot faster when somebody tells me what I'm supposed to do. I will not only tell you 5 ways to sound more professional, but also how to practice those things. Before we get into the weeds, I just wanted to let you know that I will be going live Thursday evening around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you want to do some warm-ups with me, I'll be doing them live. You can join in. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. Live on YouTube. Okay? If you want to take a voice lesson with me, you can go to my website, oliviapeck.com. It's in the description, and you can fill out the lesson request form, and we can get started. All right, let's get back into it. Here are the 5 ways to sound more professional when you're singing. Number 1, fix your tone. Let me know if you can tell the difference. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Okay, the second time obviously sounded more like I was singing. It probably sounded more professional. What's the difference? Well, what I did was I lifted my soft palate. Another thing I did was I engaged my breath more. How do you do those things? Well, you lift your soft palate by yawning. So when you yawn, you can feel your soft palate go up in the back of your throat. So you can actually see it. If you look in a mirror, you can look in the mirror and you can see where your uvula is hanging, that soft part where your uvula is, way back there. And you can actually see it go up when you yawn or sigh. Ah, just went up, okay? That is something that you want to do when you're singing. If you don't lift your soft palate, your tone is going to be a little bit flatter, okay? Somewhere. I'm not really lifting my soft palate. It's not necessarily true that when you don't lift your soft palate, it sounds horrible, but it's a different sound. And generally when you're singing, you want to lift it at least a little bit. It creates space, it helps the sound flow more, and it makes it easier to sing. How do you engage your breath? Well, first, just thinking about it helps. Just thinking about engaging your breath, engaging your core muscles helps engage your breath. I actually have a whole course on Udemy about this stuff, about the basics of singing, and I spend a lot of time on the soft palate and breath posture and everything. So if you want to really get into detail about that, then definitely check it out, or take a voice lesson with me. But I will delve into more about this stuff in more videos as well. Number 2, use proper singing diction. Diction is a jargon word for just speaking in a different way, but when you're singing. Does that make sense? So when you're speaking, you're using different diction. You're saying the consonants and the vowels differently than when you're singing. You wouldn't hear Sia go, I'm gonna swing from the chandelier. She's not singing it the way that maybe you would speak it. She's making her vowels more pure and longer, and she's making her consonants shorter and throwing them away. Okay? So she's going, I'm gonna swing, instead of I'm going to swing. I'm gonna swing. I'm gonna swing. So if she was speaking like she was singing, it would be I'm gonna swing. Does that make sense? So taller vowels, more relaxed jaw, and she's not saying swing. That's a diphthong. That's called a diphthong. Swing. She's saying swing. She emphasizes the vowels. And she doesn't say chandelier here. She says chandelier here, here. Throw it away. Throw those R's away. Throw them out. Because it doesn't sound very, very good when you're saying chandelier. Whoa. Chandelier. If I did that, you would be like, it's almost good, but there's something wrong. It's the R. Right? Number 3, train your ear. All right, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Something was wrong. It was the pitch. It was going down more and too much as I was going merrily, 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 merrily. I actually went merrily, 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 merrily. I was taking these huge leaps down, which is a common thing that a lot of people do, and it's okay. It's okay. But if you train your ear to listen for that, you'll be able to fix it eventually. The thing about descending, going down, I want to think of these little steps instead of big steps going down. That's a great rule of thumb when you're descending while you're singing. It's just very common for people to want to take giant steps down. It's just a thing. It's human nature. You know? Go easy on yourself. But on that note, really listening for the notes. What is happening there? Really breaking it down, because oftentimes when you get every single little note, you're going to polish up that song so much. A lot of the times when we learn a song and we learn it by listening to it, I do that all the time, you actually remember it differently than what it is. And what happens when you actually try to perform it, you'll have to confront that, because you'll be singing along with a track, or you'll be singing along with chords or guitar or with someone else who knows the song, and you're going to realize that what you know is slightly different. So when you're learning a song, you really want to train your ear to learn every single little note. Really practice it slowly if you have to. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. You might have to slow it down. It takes what it takes. Everyone's different. And I personally really have to slow things down sometimes and practice things in small chunks. Oh, the heater just kicked on. Number 4, understand your voice and your range. You'll be able to use songs as a frame of reference. Okay, this is mostly in my low range, and then it goes up to my high range. And then understanding, where does your chest voice feel most comfortable? Where does it live? Generally, that's your lower register. Where does my mixed voice live? Where am I comfortable singing in my middle range? What feels like my middle range? Usually your mid-range is, it's not too high, it's not too low. It's right in the middle, literally. And then your head voice is your upper register. It's your high range. If you've heard the word falsetto, that's also referring to your higher range similar to head voice. In that, we talked about two different things just now. We talked about range, high and low, and we also talked about using different types of voices. Your chest voice, or some people also use belt as an interchangeable word with chest voice. Okay, and some people just use mixed voice and your middle range interchangeably, because your mixed voice is generally living in your mid range, and then head voice, that's a type of voice you can use, but it also generally lives in your higher register. I really like to use Chappell Roan as an example of a singer who uses her head voice, her chest voice, her mixed voice. Within the span of just a couple of minutes, she'll use all of them. For Pink Pony Club, she's singing, I know you wanted me to stay, but I can't ignore the crazy visions of me in LA. So she started in her head voice, and then she went to chest. And then when she does the, God, what have you done? That is so mixy. It's like, that's an example of someone who is using all of her voices throughout her range, her whole range. But she could, theoretically, sing everything in her head voice. God would actually, in head voice, sound like, God, what have you done? Which I've seen her sing this live on a video, not in person, I wish. And she does sometimes sing that in head voice. So that's something to kind of look out for and notice. You know, Taylor Swift also sings a lot of things in head voice when she could probably sing it in her mixed voice or belt it out, you know, if she wanted to. But she'll sing it in her head voice because, as you could hear me doing the different examples, they all have different qualities and sort of a different emotional effect. But it's important for you to know which of these voices you want to use or you're using, and what part of your range you're comfortable using those voices. Like when you sing, Caro mio ben, that's head voice, pal. Look, there's always people who are going to be like, it sounded like you went into your mix. Okay, but I'm not splitting hairs here. You know, we could get into, you know, your vocal folds and how much they're closing with each one, but that's for another video. 5, learn to slide. If you can slide throughout your range, it's a great indication that you have control over your vocal folds and over your breath and understand your voice, not just up here, but physically. You are able to adjust your breath and the speed of your breath and how it affects these like little vocal folds that are in there. So when I do a slide, it would be like, woo, or you could do a whole siren. If you can slide, you're already a little bit profesh, okay? You're already a little bit profesh. Typically, when you're learning to slide, when you're learning to sing for the first time, you're going to have some cracks in there. You're going to have your breaks. And we all have breaks. It's just part of being a singer. It's part of being a human being. You have to adjust because the music is going like this or it's going like this. You know, it's always changing. And so you're engaging your breath, but while you're engaging it, you might be supporting more, or you might be squeezing more or releasing more. And that's happening while your voice is staying up here nice and smooth. Slides are a great way to practice that because you're literally going up and down pretty quickly. So it's training you to move through your registers, your low, middle, and high quickly, and the transition between all of those. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are my 5 tips and tricks for how to sound more professional when you're singing. Trust me, there's so much more where that came from. Come see me on the live on Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm really excited to make some more videos, get more in depth with some of this stuff, and just talk about singing and what the voice mood really is that day. So I'm really looking forward to it. Be sure to check out the description for links to my website if you do want to set up a one-on-one with me. The first lesson is free. First consultation is always really great because I can just get a sense of you can get a sense of me, and it's one of my favorite things about teaching is just meeting someone in a new voice. Part of the reason that I am where I am today is not just because of my education. I studied music education in school and studied the voice. However, I've learned just as much from teaching over the past 10 years, all these different voices. And the challenges that people have tend to be the same time and time again. And that has really helped me practice certain things and find techniques that work for a lot of people. And that's what makes me really excited because I understand where you're coming from. I struggle with the same things. I studied opera growing up, and then I transitioned more into pop contemporary musical theater styles, and I had to learn how to adjust, not always having the guidance of a teacher. And that is why I really want to help others sing what they want to sing and not feel like they're stuck in a box or feel like they don't like their voice and can't appreciate their voice, because there are always ways to find your strengths, and I feel like that is something that I'm good at. So reach out to me, but most importantly, I really hope this video helps you, and let me know in the comments if you did find it helpful. Alright, that really is all for now, and as Lester Holt says, take care of yourself and each other. He's really a really nice person.